So we've listened to a handful of Tracy Chapman on the channel, but we have by no means even scratched the surface of her entire discography and body of work. But with my few short listens to Tracy, the way that I would describe her right now is with one word, and I think it fits pretty well: authenticity. I feel like she as a person, she through her music, her lyrics, exudes authenticity, whether it's in the more minimalistic acoustic arrangements of her songs, her narrative voice that commands your attention not through force but through warmth and peace, and the topics that she speaks on as well. They are all so relevant to each and every single one of us. I always come away with these Tracy Chapman reactions feeling like a better person because she helps me connect to those concepts that mean so much to each and every one of us, though we don't realize it as often as maybe we should. So I have a lot of high praise to say when it comes to Tracy, but we need to be listening to more of her music for me to have more things to say down the line. So super excited to check out these 3 songs today. But before we do, a huge thanks goes to Russell the Sincere for sending this request my way and bringing some Tracy Chapman back to the channel. But now, let's jump into it.
If you knew that you would die today, you saw the face of God and love, would you change? Would you change?
Oh my god, I love the melody and lyrics already.
If you knew that love can't break your heart, when you're down so low you cannot fall, would you change?
This song is gonna make me cry, I think.
Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change.
Oh my god. This is so good. And I love that great chord progression. This song is so relevant. It will always be relevant, and I think about change quite a bit because I try to reconcile the need for change within myself, but also the need for accepting myself. And oftentimes on the surface, those two things feel at odds with one another, because to change is to maybe tacitly say, hey, you don't like who you are now, therefore you need to change to be able to like yourself. But that is kind of the warped perspective that I'm beginning to rewrite for myself, because the way I'm viewing it now is change is inevitable. In fact, our jobs as humans is not to force change one way or the other, it's to love ourselves through change, because we are humans, we are evolving, that's the whole point of our consciousness, is the ability for us to move the needle in a direction that hadn't been explored before in our own lives, or of course you can extend this societally. Love yourself through every change you go through. It's so important not to just view life as a destination and the goals in life as a destination to reach and achieve, but to appreciate your journey and make every waking moment as loving as you can, to be as present as possible. That is what it's all about. That is experience. and you can still change on top of that. Dude, this is such a beautiful song. It's like if loneliness was the trade-off, would you still be virtuous?
If you knew that you would find a truth that brings a pain that can't be soothed, would you change?
God, dude, this is such a great song. I'm so glad I'm hearing this.
How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses? How much regret?
Love these acoustic textures in both headphones.
What chain reaction would cause an effect?
Wow, because that implies that the more things change, the more they stay the same. That is an idiom that I've heard used a lot. And the thing is, we of course can't know that, like in practice. We don't know how every possible event is going to pan out. Even the overthinkers of the world, I used to be one for sure. You try to like analyze and craft the, let's say, dialogue tree fully in your brain, and then you talk to somebody that you're about to have that perspective conversation with, and they add a fourth outside option that you hadn't even conceived of. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It is impossible to control this world. We have to be adaptable. What is that? I think it's a Bruce Lee quote. Be like water. It's very important. Our rigidity holds us back.
Makes you turn around. Makes you try to explain. Makes you forgive and forget.
I think it's Bruce Lee. I don't actually know.
Are you so upright you can't be bent if it comes to blows? Are you so
Love this chord progression. Why risk falling? Wow.
Everything you think
Wow.
you know makes your life unbearable. Would you change?
Wow. It's like have some humility, because as experienced as you are, as knowledgeable as you are, there is an infinite Dunning-Kruger that says, hey, you still don't know it all. And guess what? It's okay to not know it all and to need help and to fail, because there's always a path forward to redemption, a path out of that place. If you don't allow for that path to even exist, then you'll stay where you are. I love those lyrics. I'm simping over these lyrics.
Everything you think you know makes your life
why risk falling? Like, people are scared of failure, right? It makes sense, but it also holds us back.
If you'd broken every rule and vow, and hard times come to bring you down, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would die today, if you saw the face of God and love.
Her vocals have been so measured throughout this. She has not been going that high, going that low. She's just been right in the pocket.
Would you change? Would you change?
Wow.
If you saw the face of God and love.
This is my favorite Tracy song I've heard. Dude, I love her approach to songwriting and performance because she is so measured. She lets the music and the beauty within it and the instrumentation and the melody to just exist in its state. Funnily enough, not really changing once it's been established, that remains throughout. And it's just the drive to continue through that change. And that's why it's kind of interesting, because normally, like, a thing that I'll compliment vocalists for and songwriters for is their dynamics within a song, aka vocal change. And like I said, Tracy here was right in the pocket. She remained in this rather stagnant place. Even though, like, all of what she was singing was beautiful and melodic, she didn't, deviate too far away from it, which I think just kind of was more happenstance rather than maybe a deliberate choice, though it could have been if you happen to know the behind the scenes there. That might be revealing for me. But the way I think about it is, like, she devoted this song to the meaning through and through. You have her beautiful vocal delivery, the beautiful instrumentation that doesn't change as much, so that we can actually get the message. You know what I mean? That is my favorite Tracy song. I love the melody. I love that little, like, acoustic flourish in her strumming and her playing. It really makes you think, man, because it is so difficult for us to change as individuals, right? You've spent your entire life with you, and imagine, like, all the habits you'd like to improve on, or all the mindsets you'd like to shift into and adopt. It's that challenging for you, given all that you know, given all the experience that you've had. So then we think, well, how can we change the world? How can we impart our wisdom and knowledge onto others? That is an even harder task if you think about it. And oftentimes we want to see that change manifest for the better and from a good place. But, and I know this is not really part of this song, but I think it's an extension. We should not attach our ego to change, whether it's within us solely or change that we'd like to see in the world. The only thing we can do is try to embody the change we would like to see in the world, and hope that that is magnetic enough, that has a powerful enough presence, so that others may see that change as something to be learned from and to adopt, rather than to kind of inculcate and force onto others. Because again, our ego may view certain changes as the right thing, when in reality it doesn't serve anybody else, including yourself. We could get it wrong, we could go through maladaptive changes, and the moment we start to push that onto others without allowing their own autonomy and mind to understand and maybe accept or reject, I think we've deviated too far away from the original point, which is just to accept the change within, let it flow freely. It's not hard, though. This is a lot easier said than done. Love Tracy. Let's check out the next track here. This is talking about a revolution.
Don't you know, you're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know, you're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare
Yeah, that's how revolution starts, right? It starts quiet, then it gets loud.
Crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation. Wasting time in the unemployment lines. Sitting around, waiting for a promotion. Don't you know?
This song is so relevant now. Everything, that's what I'm saying. Like, her music is just, it's always going to be necessary.
Around, waiting for a promotion. Don't you know? They're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get their share.
Poor people are going to rise up and get their share.
Poor people gonna rise up and take what's theirs.
Yeah. Everyone is entitled to this planet, this world.
Don't you know you better run, 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 run.
Wow, that is powerful.
Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Yes, finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Oh, no. Talking about a revolution. Oh, while they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation.
The thing is, it's such a simple chord progression, but it's literally just Tracy and her words that I'm fixated on. And I like that she kind of like quickens some of them and then shortens others, but the emphasis is all on her delivery, all on the meaning in these lyrics. She is such a great lyricist because she touches on these subjects that are just so close to home, that affect us all, whether directly or indirectly. They impact us and need to get sung about more, need to get spoken about more. It starts as a whisper, right? But it doesn't end there.
Crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. And finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution.
My heart is heavy.
Finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Oh, no. Talking about a revolution. Oh, no. Talking about a revolution. Oh, no.
I love her smile. See, I really, really like Tracy. She is so connected. She is so in the know. She sings about the things that matter. And I think this has mostly always been the case, but society right now, there is a lot of injustice, a lot of inequality, a lot of problematic behavior that is somehow being allowed to slide on by. And that tells you, right? Even if we can refer back to Changes, the first song, if something is broken and routinely brings you to a problematic place, isn't it time for change? I mean, if not now, then when? It only becomes harder to go through these necessary societal changes the more we wait, the more we pontificate, the more we analyze something to death, rather than look at our own emotional responses collectively to the problems that arise and say, enough is enough. You know, there's this interesting philosopher, modern day philosopher, I guess you can call him. He's a YouTuber. You could find his channel, Alex O'Connor. I think this guy is super intelligent. Whether you agree with everything he says or not, that's more of a different story. But he brings about this idea of ethical emotivism, which basically helps center your moral compass on our collective emotional responses to the things that happen in the world. And so if there isn't any, let's say, objective morality, for example, this could be a way to do it, because our natural instincts collectively will tell us whether or not something is problematic for us societally or not. So if we see something terrible all happen in unison and our collective emotional response is to be devastated for this thing to be absolutely awful, we can use our emotions as a guide to, let's say, derive policy or enact fundamental changes that otherwise we'd be ignoring. I don't think this is foolproof, because oftentimes too our emotions can misguide us in different ways, but there is wisdom in the crowd. There's wisdom in all of us if we actually tap into that, rather than sort of delegating away the critical thinking and emotional understanding necessary to understand what needs to be done. Then we'll never get anywhere. We have to search within first, investigate why certain things make us feel a kind of way, and then look towards change externally. I still need to do more research into this idea of ethical emotivism, because it seems pretty great, but I'm not an expert, so I'll get back to you on that. There's another beautiful song too. Let's jump into the last track here. This is Baby Can I Hold You. Track and song becomes sack, unfortunately. Or trong.
Sorry is all that you can say. Years gone.
Tracy reminds me of, like, facially, she reminds me of two people that I know in my life. One was a friend of mine in college, and another is like a cousin of a good friend of mine. I can't help but see their faces in Tracy's.
Words don't come easily. Like sorry, like sorry.
It is hard to apologize.
Forgive me. It's all that you can say.
Because to ask for forgiveness and to apologize is to accept that you hurt someone else. And a lot of us, we don't want to accept that that was possible, so we don't apologize.
Years gone by and still
But we have to.
words don't come easily. Like forgive me, forgive me. But you can say, baby, baby, can I hold you tonight? Baby, if I told you the right words, ooh, at the right time.
It's making me so emotional today. I don't know why.
I love you. It's all that you can say. Years gone by and still words don't come easily. Like I love you, I love you. But you can say, baby, baby, can I hold you tonight? Baby, if I told you the right words, ooh, at the right time, you'd be mine. Baby, can I hold you tonight?
Permission to console someone you've wronged.
If I told you the right words, ooh, at the right time, you'd be mine.
We need more Tracy Chapman on the channel. That was so beautiful. Those songs are just, they speak directly to me so quickly. I really like that. I feel like there's a subtle genius in the way that she writes these songs, especially lyrically, that just immediately makes sense to us. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm having any trouble interpreting her message. That takes a very special skill to just nail it, on a first pass. And she touches on all these subjects, right? Even in this last song here, to have hurt somebody else and you need to apologize, but also be unconditionally loving. Say I love you, be overflowing with that. And on the flip side of things too, I think about this idea of forgiveness, and I've been trying to like workshop it in my brain the past few weeks, definitely since the start of 2026. But this idea of forgiveness and what it means, and forgiveness, it's for us, it's for ourselves. It's so that we don't hold on to the negativity anymore that's brought about because of the way that we've been hurt. If we've been hurt some way, somehow, our body naturally wants to remember that hurt so that we don't feel it again at a later point. It's protective, and your nervous system will act accordingly. The unfortunate byproduct or consequence of constantly being in that protection mode, feeling like there's a threat out there, is you can never actually soften into yourself, and now you're just left holding the negativity bag. And you can only stop holding the negativity bag until you truly let it go. And forgiveness is an important tool in being able to let it go. Now, that doesn't mean that you excuse the harm that was caused to you, whether it was by yourself or at the hands of somebody else, because you don't want it to continue. But we don't have to further internalize the hurt that we've experienced either. You see? It's like, hey, you hurt me. I forgive you for hurting me. Don't do it again. That's kind of the 1, 2, 3 punch there. I don't even know which is my favorite song of the day. I feel like I'm just gonna immediately give it to Changes, just because like that melody was so beautiful right away, and I think I liked the guitar playing the most in that song. But all three of these have such a hold on me right now. I can't explain it. Maybe you guys have experienced the same thing with Tracy and her music, but she spoke directly to my heart and soul today, and I couldn't be more appreciative of getting this request. So thank you very much, Russell. Means a lot. And yeah, I'll end it there. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction today. If you'd like to request one yourself, as always, the link is down below. But as always, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.